Hey guys, today we're going to talk about composition of functions. So we'll be on page 29 in your notebook. So a composition is a way to combine functions. So if we have what's called f of g of x is the same thing as we're going to take the function of f and we're going to put in it whatever g of x is. So that means we're going to drop in or plug in whatever the g of x function is. Well, it was not erasing. We're going to plug in g of x, there we go, into f of x, or whatever function is on the outside. We're going to start with it, and inside of it, we're going to plug in g of x for the x. So let's look at what that looks like. So you can't see the actual functions here. Alrighty. So this is on your paper. We have f of x is x squared plus 8. And then g of x is x minus 1. And h of x is 5x minus 3. These are at the top of your paper on page 29. So if I'm going to take f of g of x, that means I'm going to take the function of x, and instead of x, I'm going to plug in whatever g of x is. So the easiest way I think to do this is start by writing out the function f, I'm sorry. So you see how f is x squared plus 8. So what I'm going to do is, instead of writing x squared, I'm going to put a set of parentheses, squared plus 8. Because in here for x, I'm going to put the function g of x. So g of x is x minus 1. So in these parentheses, I'm going to put x minus 1. And then from there, we have to work that out. So we're going to really do x minus 1 times x minus 1 and then plus 8. So I'm going to do my normal distribution. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 1 is negative 1x. Negative 1 times x is another negative 1x. And negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. And then we're going to bring down the plus 8. And then I just have to combine my like terms. So here I have negative 1x and negative 1x. That's going to give me negative 2x. Here I have 1 plus 8. That's going to give me 9. And then don't forget to bring down your x squared. So that is my answer. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to have my h be my outside, and inside my h function, I'm going to plug in g of x. So I'm going to start by writing out my h function, and I'm going to leave a set of parentheses where the x would be. Okay, so I just wrote this, and then in place of the x, I put a set of parentheses. Now, instead of x, I'm going to write g of x. So I'm going to take this x minus 1 again and put it inside the parentheses. And then I'm going to do my regular algebra thing. So 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. And then bring down the negative 3. And then I'm looking for like terms. So I have negative 5 and negative 3. That's going to give me negative 8. And I'm going to bring down my 5x. So 5x minus 8 is my answer there. All right, I'm going to rewrite these functions again because for some reason it deleted them. So f of x is x squared plus 8. G of x is x minus 1. And h of x is 5x minus 3. All right, so here I'm going to do the function of x, or the function of f, sorry. And inside that function, I'm going to put h. All right, so I'm going to start by writing out f is x squared plus 8. So again, in place of the x, I'm just going to put a set of parentheses, squared plus 8. And then in where the x is, I'm going to put the h thing, which is 5x minus 3. So in my parentheses, I'm going to put 5x minus 3. Then I'm going to write that all out and do 5x minus 3, just like what we just did a minute ago, 5x minus 3, and then plus 8. 5x times 5x is 25x squared. 5x minus 3 is negative 15x. I'm going to start with my negative 3. Negative 3 times 5x is another negative 15x. 3 times 3 is plus 9. And then bring down your plus 8. So you're looking for your like terms. So you have like terms here, and you have like terms here. So I've got 25x squared. Negative 15 and negative 15 give me negative 30x. And then 9 plus 8 is going to give me 17. That's my answer. Okay, here I'm going to start. I've got g of f of x. So I'm going to start by writing my g. So g is just x minus 1. So I'm going to do parentheses minus 1. And inside those parentheses, I'm going to find my f of x, and I'm going to put x squared plus 8. Okay, so I can just rewrite this one as x squared plus 8 minus 1, because I'm not doing anything to the x squared plus 8. So here, I'm just going to combine my like terms, which is positive 8 and negative 1. So I've got x squared and then plus 7. And that's my answer. Okay, one more time. So we've got f of x is equal to x squared plus 8. G of x is equal to x minus 1. And h of x is 5x minus 3. Now this time we're going to put in numbers. So what I would have before was g of h of 2. Okay, so I'm going to leave my space. If I write g out, it's x minus 1. So I would do parentheses minus 1. And then I would put h of 2 in here. So really what I'm doing is I'm taking the function of h and I'm putting a 2 in where the x is. Okay, and so that is a really long and drawn out way to do it. But I could do 5 times 2 minus 3. So that's technically the way to do it. I think that is kind of confusing. So what we're going to do is first we're going to figure out what is h of 2. So that means I'm going to write out my h, and I'm going to do 5 and then parentheses minus 3. And earlier when we put a whole function into those parentheses, now we only need to put the 2 because the 2 is replacing the x. Okay, so instead of writing 5x minus 3, I'm going to do 5 times 2 minus 3, which is the same thing as 10 minus 3, which is 7. So now I have, instead of g of h of 2, I have just g of 7. Because we said h of 2 equals 7, so we're going to replace it. Now I can take my g function and put in a 7. So my g function was something minus 1. And instead of the x now, I'm going to replace it with a 7. So it's 7 minus 1, which is 6. Okay, I could have written it this way, but that way is just kind of a mess. So we're going to do it step by step instead. So here I'm doing h of x of negative 6. So we start in the center and work our way out. So the function of negative 6 is I'm going to take my f function and I'm going to put negative 6 in for x. So I've got some number squared plus 8. And instead of putting a big function in, all I have to do is do negative 6. So negative 6 squared is 36, plus 8 is 44. Oops, that's not my final answer. All right, then we're going to take the 44 and we're going to put it in right here. So now we're going to find h of 44. So we're going to take our h function, which is 5 times the number minus 3, and our number is going to be 44. So 5 times 44 is 220. And we're going to subtract 3, and we're going to get 217. And that's our answer. So basically your practice is going to be this worksheet. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to do g of f of x. So I'm going to start with my g, which is 5, and then parentheses minus 6. Then I need to look up what is my f of x. So it's going to be 3x minus 4. And then I'm just going to simplify that. So 5 times 3x is 15x. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. And then minus 6. So I have like terms. So I've got 15x minus 20 minus 6 is minus 26. And that's my answer. And then I'm going to go look down at the bottom to see what code or what letter I should use. And the letter should be a D. All right, so you're going to do the same thing. You should end up with the E on this one. All right, so that's how you do this worksheet. And your answer is going to be decomposing. So when you're done, if that's not what you have, you didn't do it all correctly.